What's up, YouTube? Your guy Nerdy G back here with the video. And this video is going to be about WWE, and this is going to be my new series that I'm going to put out, and it's going to be called Here's a Thought WWE. So basically the episodes are going to be going over kind of like fixing problems, fixing storylines. Here's an idea that I would think that would improve what's going on in the WWE. Not saying that they need any help from the likes of a guy like me, but these, I think, some things that are kind of help the fans and kind of engage the fans a little bit more and pull us in, because you guys are doing a wonderful job with the bloodline. But that's just only one part of the whole WWE universe that has the whole world on the edge of their seat, especially what after happened over this weekend. And you guys, if you haven't known, spoiler alert, Jimmy super kicked Roman twice. So here we go. Today's first episode is going to be over fixing the giant known as OMOS, right? And listen, you guys have tried to pair him with everybody. You guys been giving him meaningless, pretty much matches or whatever the case may be, and it just don't make sense. So how do we separate it, right? He started off with AJ Styles, right? Or when he came in, he was paired with AJ Styles, and they were the tag team champions for a while. Then the whole deal, oh, you think you're holding me back? AJ, you're holding me back, and it's not. And then he went off on his own. Didn't really fare well on his own. Now he's with MVP, which is perfect. So let's focus on that. You guys have him with MVP. MVP is the talker. OMOS does not have to talk. Let MVP do all the talking for OMOS. We know he's horrible on the mic. We know he's horrible, period, because when he's in his matches, I mean, he's very arrogant in his matches, and maybe dial some of that back and keep him like the silent type, not kind of like Solo. But here is here's the idea, right? Let's create a new faction, because we know that's where WWE is headed right now. If you haven't watched, if you haven't been paying attention, the factions are popping up everywhere, and why not take the opportunity to create another faction, and in some way, not this year or probably rolling into next year, and basically have a faction war lead up to that, right? Like a factions war games or something like that, where all the factions pretty much just come to a head and say who's the best, because Damage Control says they run SmackDown. They say Judgment Day say that they run Raw. But to have all of these different factions to come together to say, hey, I'm the best, we're the best, whatever the case may be. Like I say, another video, another day, another time. This is about OMOS, right? But here we go. And so let's get MVP to create a new faction with OMOS, Apollo Crews, and Dabba-Kato, or for you fans, Commander Aziz. I'm going to call him Kato throughout this video. But yeah, so this is what we'll do. We know that Apollo and Kato have been tied to the hip since Kato came into WWE. They have their little issues going on, but use MVP to mend those issues. Yes, I understand that Kato is still on NXT, but we can make a deal, and MVP can use his, behind the scenes and broker a deal and make him a free agent. Then what you do is you partner him with OMOS. You get MVP to fix the rift between Apollo and Kato, and then what ends up happening is you have a Brothers of Destruction. Yeah, let Apollo live on Raw. Let him not have the success that he's had in the past, right? Let him go up for a couple, give him a couple title shots from, the Intercontinental Champion, or trying to put some more gold around his waist, and he just keeps coming up short. But you partner OMOS and Kato as the new Brothers of Destruction. Kane was the silent type. We didn't hear Kane truly on the dang on microphone. That's OMOS. OMOS is the king. Kato is the Undertaker. Put those three together, right? And because they are free agents, right? OMOS and Kato can bounce back and forth between Raw and SmackDown, wreaking havoc, saying, hey, us, the connection, the Nigerian connection, working name, You know what I'm saying? But the connection I like, because the connection still, they're all from Nigeria, and they're going to run Raw and SmackDown, right? So Apollo is holding things down on Raw. They're going to SmackDown because there's a crack in the bloodline. The bloodline is not what they used to be. Then you can kind of insert them in and say, okay, hey, we see an opening. We want to run SmackDown and we want to run Raw, right? This can be like a little simple side story. I call it simple, but it's probably a complex. But you put them together, and then it's kind of like your Brothers of Destruction, Hurt Business 2.0, have MVP to run the point on this, right? Have him run point on this and just make it go, right? At some point, you guys got to separate those tag team titles, right? Instead of the Undisputed, put one on Raw, put one on SmackDown. This way, we can have the Giants, right, go grab one of those belts. And then, check this out, because you have so much exposure, so much destruction, this is literally, like I'm saying this is, I know it sounded like a faction talk, but it's literally for OMOS, right? People didn't understand Kane. They just knew that Kane was Undertaker's brother. And at some point, they fell in love with him being the silent type, coming in and wreaking havoc. I think that's the same deal that you need to do with OMOS. I know you guys probably say, well, putting him with Kato and Cruz, those aren't the biggest names. They don't have to be the biggest names. All they have to do is be in a faction, create some destruction, stop putting them in meaningless matches. Because if you think about this, recently, OMOS has fought Seth Rollins, Brock Lesnar, Braun Strowman, and these are at the previous Premium Live events. Why? Why has he fought them? There was no build up to it except for the one with Braun Strowman, a little bit with Brock. But why? It makes no sense. There's a little build up, and then, yeah, okay, there's no real rivalry there. It's just, hey, I'm going to go fight these guys, and I'm going to lose to these guys, right? Then also, too, what you also can do is when Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander and Bobby, right? You can make them get the old gang back together and have an issue because MVP is taking the connection and they're running through everybody, or they're just creating havoc wherever they go, and it can be an issue. Then you can kind of put that out for a while where the Hurt Business and the Connection has a riff, and they can have their rivalry going on for a while. And then, of course, Viking Raiders, and then you can add in these other folks, right? 3 to 4 people in these factions, and you can make it happen. It can happen on Raw. It can happen on SmackDown. Raw, even though Apollo will be there by himself the majority of the time, but because they are free agents, they will be able to come and help him and, deal with the Judgment Day, deal with Imperium, deal with the Viking Raiders, and deal with the Way once they get back together, they are together. And then also Jinder Mahal and his group. And don't forget, the New Day is there as well. Like I say, there's plenty of things for them to do over there to where they can go and they can kind of run through a few people. And like I say, separate those tag teams, get Sammy and Kevin off of both of those tag team championships. But with all of this being said, Omos would truly be there for all of this. The destruction, this will gain him some type of popularity, and you guys will know, hey, this is it. This is where we can get the fans to like him, and then kind of break up some of that. He can pull something from Kato, because Kato's cool with the microphone, and work it out that way. And that'll be perfect. I'm going to end the video right here. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. This is the first episode. I got more coming. Until next time, I'm your guy, Nerdy G,